Hello everybody and welcome back to Hotsport for yet another video. Make sure like buttons are being hit. Make sure you are subscribing to Hotsport and make sure you get a hit on that QR code that I have to the right of me with a picture of me and with Cal to get onto Fire Them Can. Subscribe. We need all the help we can at the moment on that channel. We had some quality. We had 2 pods this week. Some quality pods. I had my brother on there, so everybody who's curious about that, check him out. And Seb was on there yesterday on Fire Them Cannons. Now that we got all the admin stuff off the way, we're going to talk about a huge weekend in the Premier League. If you've now watched Under Pressure for this week, you would have seen that I very much zeroed in on how important this weekend is, and I have explained that. So go check out that video as well. I think we're going to do another Anton's picks. That's what we're going to do. Not to say that there are not teams under pressure, but I mean, in theory, there are. I mean, there are potential upsets I could talk about. I could maybe flag, but overall, according to the betting odds, they're not expecting many shocks this weekend. So let's get into it. Let's just talk about the games. I'll give you the betting odds as per Sportsbet. Although they are not an official sponsor of Hotsport, they are just the app that I use for my betting purposes. All right. By the way, I don't actually bet, but I use them for as odds checkers. Starting up, Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Now, this would be a very Man United game to drop. This would be a very Man United game to drop away from home at Forest. On the back of some very impressive... on the back of some very impressive performances away at Liverpool and at home against Brighton. And I've been confident in those matches. This one's a bit tougher in some way. I don't know why. I feel that way. Let me turn my light on because my other light just turned off. Just for respect. Okay. I don't know why I have this weird feeling that maybe this might be a slip up here. I mean, this is Nottingham. Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest. We know that their form continued as is last weekend. I'm not going to go with a bit of an upset here. Upset alert. I'm going to hit the button at every single time I think there's a potential one. And here we go. Upset alert. I think Nottingham Forest might get something out of Manchester United this weekend. I just think maybe it's just time for the Forest to come to life. For me, it just feels like it's a very Man United fixture to drop. I just don't know why. There's been no drama in Manchester United land recently, and the fans are starting to get a little bit cocky. Kept making a few claims. For some reason, this is a Sean Dyche Nottingham Forest. By the way, there's many different versions of Nottingham Forest. We're talking about, how the seasons are not created equal. Some people get to play Nuno's Nottingham Forest. That was a bit more difficult than the people who had to play Ange's Nottingham Forest. And now some people have to play Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest. I think Dyche might get a point against Man United this week. Moving on. Crystal Palace against Brentford. That should be a really good game, considering what Brentford has done in recent weeks, what Palace have done in recent weeks. Both of them, by the way, beat Liverpool. This is close. According to the bookies, Crystal Palace are $2. Brentford is $3.60. It's similar odds, by the way, to Man United Nottingham Forest. By the way, for more towards United, I'm going with a draw. For Crystal Palace and Brentford, I'm going to go with the Palace. I am. I just think you didn't see that Crystal Palace that you're used to seeing last week because they played at the Emirates. And then they decided to go into their shell and play low block. I mean, to be honest, it's crazy. It's crazy. But again, I'm not doing it on a slot and complaining because we keep getting the job done. It's only because some of our Rivals fans say shameless stuff about how we're not looking good offensively. But I've got Crystal Palace winning against Brentford. Fulham against Wolves. I don't even need to spend much more time on this like I do every week on Wolves. I just don't believe on Wolves in the moment. Fulham have lost as well, I believe, 4 matches in a row. That streak ends this weekend. I expect Fulham at the Cottage to beat the Wolves. The Wolves got a little bit of life on the weekend against Chelsea. I think this is different. This is the Premier League, back to normal. I got Fulham winning that game. Brighton against Leeds. I have Brighton at home. I think they've been a very good home team. They've had a lot tougher teams than Leeds to play at home. And I think I got the Seagulls winning that game. Arsenal go away to Burnley. You guys don't need me to even tell you what I think, right? The odds right now is $13 to Burnley, $5.50 for a draw, and the Arsenal, $1.22. I gotta go with the Gunners. I mean, by the way, not me taking Burnley lightly. It's an expectation that we go and beat them, and we have to go and beat them. We have to. I'm going to be ruthless in terms of what I expect out of my football club, given the squad that we've got, given the things I say about them. We got to go beat Burnley. There you go. Match of the round. Big match, by the way, at 4:30 a.m. today, right after our game, which means probably going to have a short post-match because Terry is going to rush us. So what can you do? It means I can go to bed earlier at least. Tottenham against Chelsea. These odds are freaking close. $2.75 for Spurs. $2.50 the favorites for Chelsea, and a draw $3.40. Guys, there's been a little bit too much shit being spoken about Chelsea. And every time that happens, like the same, Tottenham's going to rip Chelsea apart. Every time that happens, you know what happens. And the betting odds telling you that. And I'm going to go for a Chelsea victory away at Spurs. You heard me, folks. I think Chelsea's going to beat Spurs. I haven't really thought about this fixture all week, but the idea just popped into my head right now. It's very Chelsea to lose to Sunderland and the next week go ahead and beat Tottenham. And that's what I think is going to happen. I got Chelsea beating Spurs at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Liverpool against Aston Villa. It's time to put my money where my mouth is. Guys, I'm saying this right now. I'm going with a Liverpool win. That's what my gut tells me. And I know I've been doing it in the last few weeks, by the way. So while I've been saying I told you so, that's by a general consensus of how I felt about them the entire year. Not match by match. Like I picked them to beat Chelsea. I picked them to beat United. I picked them. Actually, I did pick a draw against Palace, but then they went ahead and lost to Palace. Yeah, I just think at some point this team is going to have to stand up to their manager. Otherwise, it can get very ugly. I think Liverpool win. I don't know by what means it happens. I'm not saying it's going to be a dominant Liverpool win, but I think Liverpool win. It could be maybe 2-1 or something like that. Because, again, they're conceding goals, but I think they'll end up winning. West Ham at home against Newcastle. Now, you know what? You know how it is when teams go away to West Ham. They slap them. Newcastle, I think this is going to be their back-to-back victory. I got the tune on me. I got this guy. Ash, you watching? See, you're going to want to clip this up. I got him scoring, and I've got Newcastle smashing the Hammers. Because that's what teams do when they go to play at the Olympic Stadium. Manchester City against Bournemouth. That is a tough one. Unlike Liverpool, I'm going to go for a draw in this game. The odds are $1.47 Man City, $4.50, Bournemouth $5.50. But I think Bournemouth have been up for these games. They've got some really good performances here. And I see this finishing like 1-1 or 2-2. I think Semenyo has got something in him for this game. I just don't know why. See, I just kind of go with my gut. I'm not going to say both of the sides are going to... By the way, by my calculations, right? Arsenal win, they'll put us on 25 points. Liverpool win, for finally they would get off from 15 into 18, which means the gap would still be 7. A draw, then make it 8. So Liverpool would then go ahead of City, and Arsenal would then, it would be 7 and 8. It would be upgraded from 6 and 7 to 7 and 8, where Man City is the team with 8. And then they go in to face each other. That's what I'm saying. And finally, we'll end Monday Night Football, Sunderland against Everton. This is the tightest odds. Both of them are at $2.70. The draw is at $3. And you know what that means, the odds are trying to tell you. It's going to be a draw. I think Sunderland will draw with Everton at the Stadium Live. That's what I think. And that has been Anton's picks for this weekend. By the way, that was one upset, 2 upsets. By the way, I didn't hit the upset alert on. I should have. Sorry, my bad. But I'm not gonna do it now. It feels silly. Yeah, I think the Manchester teams are the ones that are going to drop points. So as a recap, we got a draw: Forest and United, Crystal Palace to beat Brentford, Fulham to beat Wolves, Brighton to beat Leeds, Arsenal to beat Burnley, Chelsea to beat Tottenham. Just maybe for that purposes, maybe if you what do you reconsider? Because I definitely don't do title clashes as upset alert ever. But considering the shit people talk about Chelsea this week, there you go. I have Liverpool beating Aston Villa. I've got Newcastle over West Ham, and I've got a draw between Man City and Bournemouth. And Sunderland and Everton with a draw, and that is Anton's picks again once more. Thank you again for tuning in to the video. Make sure you're hitting the like button on your way out and subscribing to Fire Them Cannons. Again, there's a QR code. Look at as well at the bottom for my socials. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. And Anton out.